Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Simona Cuccioni and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Kharkiv residents emerge from life underground to find a city in ruins. Developers could cancel approximately 5,000 new condo units as construction prices rise. Biggest rail strike in 30 years brings Britain to standstill. Exploding propane tanks reported as fire tears through the Etobicoke business. Milk prices to rise 2 cents a liter this fall in rare mid-year price hike. Suspect to appear in court after woman set on fire on TTC bus last week. 2 Canadians found dead of knife wounds in Mexico resort. Raptors coach Nick Nurse to perform with Prince's former band at TD Toronto Jazz Fest. Summer begins today and it may be warmer than normal. So those were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. Families emerged from the subway station they have been sheltering in for weeks and months toward the end of May after Ukrainian forces pushed the Russian troops far enough away from the city center to offer some relief from the constant shelling Kharkiv has endured through the war. But with the Russian having dug into the positions north of Kharkiv and the Russian border just 50 kilometers away, outlying neighborhoods are still coming under fire. On Monday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he believes the Russian army is trying to gather forces to attack Kharkiv again. Developers could cancel the construction of approximately 5,000 new condo units in Toronto in response to rising material and labor costs, an analysis conducted by the real estate research firm Urbanation has found. The Urbanation president, Sean Hildebrandt, said building costs that are up approximately 20% year over year are now rising much faster than real estate, which could result in some projects no longer being economically feasible to proceed with. Real estate prices have already started to soften amid an aggressive interest rate tightening cycle being taken by the Bank of Canada. Hildebrandt said Toronto has been in the midst of condo boom for some time, so overall supply should remain strong with the 87,000 units currently under construction and 33,000 in the pre-construction stage. But he warned that there will be some collateral damage due to the fact that costs are rising very quickly at a time that prices are starting to soften. In that case, he said the buyers will entitled to have their deposit returned to them under the Ontario law. Britain's biggest rail strike in 30 years kicked off today as tens of thousands of staff walked out in a dispute over pay and jobs that could pave the way for widespread industrial action across the economy in the coming months. Picket lines appeared at dawn and will be lined by some of more than 40,000 rail workers who are due to strike on today, Thursday, and Saturday, bringing the network to a standstill. The London Underground was also shut due to the strike. Prime Minister Boris Johnson, under the pressure to do more to help British households that face the toughest economic hit in decades, said the industrial action would harm businesses as they could continue to recover from the pandemic. Unions have said the rail strike could mark the start of a summer of discontent, with teachers, medics, waste disposal workers, and even barristers moving toward industrial action as surging food and fuel prices pushes inflation toward 10%. Police say the nearby businesses are being evacuated due to a fire at an equipment rental facility in Etobicoke that had resulted in the explosion of multiple propane tanks. The 3-alarm fire was first reported at around 3:40 p.m. at a business near Racine Road and Bryden Drive, which is in the vicinity of Kipling Avenue and Rexdale Boulevard. Toronto Fire says there are approximately 40 propane tanks at the scene and that all units are being advised to battle the blaze from a defensive position as a precaution. Approximately 30 different apparatuses and 100 firefighters are at the scene. Racine Road is currently closed between Martin Grove Road and Kipling Avenue. The Canadian Dairy Commission has approved a rare second milk price increase for this year. The Crown Corporation, which oversees Canada's dairy supply management system, says the farm gate milk prices will go up about 2 cents per liter or 2.5% on September 1st. The increase comes after milk prices rose 6 cents per liter or roughly 8.4% on February 1st. The commission says when it reviews prices again as usual this fall, the mid-year price increase approved for September 1st will be deducted from any adjustments for next February. Prices are usually reviewed once a year. A man charged with setting a woman on fire on TTC bus last week is set to appear in a court today for a bail hearing. Toronto resident Tenzi Norbu, 33-year-old, is facing 4 charges in connection with the incident, including attempted murder and assault with a weapon. On Friday, June 17th, police said a man on board a bus at Kipling Station allegedly poured flammable liquid on a female passenger and ignited her on fire. The woman, believed to be in her 20s, suffered a second-degree and a third-degree burns. She was rushed to hospital in a critical condition. Police said the suspect fled the area but was later located and taken into custody. On Sunday, police identified Norbu as the suspect and said they are treating the incident as a suspected hate-motivated crime. Police said Norbu and the victim were unknown to each other and that the attack was an isolated incident. Norbu is scheduled to appear in court today at 10 a.m. 2 Canadians, one of them sought by Interpol, have been found dead of knife wound in Mexico's Caribbean coast resort of Playa del Carmen, the state prosecutor's office said today. Prosecutors in Quintana Roo State, also home to resorts like Cancun and Tulum, said the man and woman were found dead yesterday at a hotel or a condo in the troubled resort, and a third person was reported injured. There was no immediate information on their names or hometowns. Global Affairs Canada is aware of the death of 2 Canadian citizens in Mexico, the ministry said in a statement. But the prosecutors confirmed the male victim was on an Interpol wanted list for fraud charges. Playa del Carmen has been hit by several instances of violence involving foreigners, most recently in January when 2 Canadians were killed at a local resort, apparently because of death between the international drug and weapon trafficking gangs. It will be few more months before the Raptors are back in action, but coach Nick Nurse is set to hit the stage at TD Toronto Jazz Fest this weekend. Nurse, who can usually be seen calling at the plays at Raptors game, is also a huge music fan and aspiring musician and is set to make a guest appearance this Sunday with the new Power Generation Prince's former backing band. Nurse is no stranger to Prince's music. The first song he learned to play on the piano was Purple Rain. In the previous interviews, he talked about hitting the road to catch Prince's concert in the 80s, and he was even purchased Prince's Alpha Grand Purple piano. Summer officially begins today in the Northern Hemisphere and is likely to be a scorcher. Environment Canada has issued a heat warning for most of the southern and northern Ontario ahead of what it says it will be a 2-day heat event. The weather agency is forecasting a high of 30 degrees Celsius today, but says it will be closer to 35 degrees with the humidex. Tomorrow, temperatures are set to rise to 31 degrees Celsius, but could feel closer to 39 degrees with the humidex. There is also a 40% chance of showers on Wednesday, which could provide some relief. Cooler conditions will arrive on Thursday but will remain above seasonal for most of the week, with the daytime high between 26 degrees Celsius and 28 degrees Celsius. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Simona Cutoni, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same channel. Adios.